Have you ever held a curiosity around magic mushrooms and what they could do for you? Well, in this video, I want to share with you my own personal experience with magic mushrooms, both on the big scale dosing and small scale dosing, and why this will now be a continual routine part of the rest of my life. A little bit of background information first. My first dose of mushrooms was about 13 years ago. No. 11 years ago. No, I was 18. I'm 31 now. I apparently 13 years ago. Yeah, math. Guess math is hard for me today. It was at a rave. It was at a metal show with EDM groups as well. Not what I recommend for a first time experience. I was very fortunate to have a friend with me to be able to walk me through the entire experience. But yeah, I don't recommend that to be the first time. The first time I recommend doing it, if you do ever decide to do a larger dose, which I'm not condoning, just putting that out there. If you decide to do this on your own free will, I would encourage you to entertain the thought of doing it in a space that you feel safe around people whom you also feel safe. When I did them, especially the first handful of times, I felt super self-conscious. Every single emotion that I felt, basically, how do I describe this? See, when you're under the influence of a psychedelic, it almost forces you to disassociate from the feelings that you're feeling. You disassociate from the ego. So you bear witness to the emotion comes, and then you can either choose to identify with the emotion or you choose to just let it go. And when you're not mentally versed in this space, those emotions come and you don't know what to do with it. So that's why it's good to be in a safe space where you know there's somebody there whom you trust, because even the most trustworthy people, sometimes you feel subconscious and self-conscious in front of. So yeah, I started about 13 years ago, and then it was around 5 or 6 years ago where I started doing a large dose once every 6 weeks to 2 months. And the reason being was because I needed to get myself off of antidepressants. And I did a lot of reading into how mushrooms can be used to get oneself off of antidepressants, because I hated them, hated how I felt, hated how I received things, hated how just how I showed up in my life. It wasn't me. It wasn't even a facade I was choosing. I just felt kind of numb to the experience of life. And quite frankly, it was bullshit. So I needed to make a change. I don't even remember who I was talking about it. I'm quite certain that it actually just like went across my screen as an idea. And so I kind of just took the idea and ran. So I used to macrodose once every 4 to 6 weeks and loved it. And that is a continuation that I'm going to be continuing to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to dive deeper into macrodoses in a different video. However, this one in particular, I want to focus on microdosing. Microdosing, I started regularly off and on about 5 years ago, and it was life-changing. Now, right up front, for anybody who is having curiosities as to, oh, am I going to hallucinate and stuff like that? No. On microdosing, you're not going to hallucinate. It's not nearly enough to alter your perception of what reality or what you deem to be reality is. The absolute most to your vision with a microdose is colors become more vibrant, and not like vibration vibrant. It's just you feel a deeper sense of appreciation for all of the colors that you see. Same with sound. Your music, your favorite music, you will see them and hear them in such a more profound experience. It's quite fascinating. If you give it a try, if you choose to make the decision to give them a try, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But the biggest and most beneficial aspect of microdosing that I have had has actually been through the disassociation of my identity around my ego. Yep. A lot of big words in there. So what that means is, after a while of doing them, I would be able to witness a thought, witness emotion, and make the conscious choice on if it was something that I wanted to keep. So basically, on the foundation of, does this thought serve me? And if the thought does not serve me, then I would just change my thought. If it did serve me, then I would hold on to it. Or the emotion I was feeling, I would ask myself and self-reflect, is like, is this my emotion? Is this emotion just attached to a thought that I'm having that I don't want to be having? And it's one of those things where a person can explain this to you over and over and over again, but you're not going to actually get it and understand it to its depths until it's something that you've experienced for yourself. So with microdosing, it's something that a person can do a few different ways. I've seen a lot of like 100 milligrams a day for 5 days on, 2 days off, 200 milligrams for 1 day on, 2 days off, 1 day on, 2 days off, or 150 milligrams for 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. And really, it matters on you and what your schedule is, what you need out of it, and what most importantly is, what is your intention behind it. Okay. When you just take something willy-nilly, or when any of us just take something willy-nilly in hopes that it's just going to fix us, what part of us is it going to fix? And furthermore, there's no part of us that's broken. So if you're holding on to the belief that you're broken, please drop that right now. Okay. You're not broken. I'm not broken. There's nobody out there that is broken. There are just certain aspects of us that we need to further explore. So with the intention of doing a microdose, it's asking one's question is, what are you wanting to get out of this? Okay. So for me, the first time it was to get off of antidepressants. And then the second time it was to have something to help me get off of ADHD medication. And so I haven't done any sort of microdosing or any mushrooms at all now for at least a month. And today marks day 1 of microdosing again. And my intention for doing this is to show up in a space and a capacity for other people to bear witness what I go through, so you guys can see the efficacy and the safety behind it. And then a subdivision of what my intention to that be is to look at my business differently. So I focused heavily on one-on-one coaching for a very long time. And now I'm transitioning over to doing a community-based style group coaching. And so I've always been used to looking at my business in this direction, but now I'm looking at it in this direction. And so my intention is to kind of take a step back and broaden everything to understand what needs are different and how do I tend to my business differently with this. And basically just being open to whatever experiences that are going to be there, open to the growing pains and the challenges that are going to show themselves throughout this process, because it's a new direction for me. So my confidence in the microdosing is that my perception is going to be scaled back, it's going to be zoomed out, and it's going to be completely open to the new experience, which was the same foundation as to transitioning off of ADHD medication. I was open to the experience of getting off of those things and seeing how life could be without the ADHD medications, and learning the tools of how to manage those symptoms naturally without needing that super stimulant. Same thing with getting off of antidepressants. It was being open to the new perception of what life can be like by choice without needing that pill to alter my state of consciousness. And so this is my intention, is scale back. How is going to be the community and group coaching aspect different and more, or different level of enlightening compared to the one-on-one? I'm not saying that I'm done one-on-one. I'm just adding this community as basically as a package deal addition. So everybody, all of my clients are going to benefit out of it. but it's new to me. And so that's what my intention is. And so if you make the choice to do this, what is your intention? What do you want to see? What aspects of your life do you want to explore? Okay. And before I take off, I want to leave you with an analogy here. Now, I look at life, and when we feel triggered, it's like a light bulb that goes off inside of ourselves. And in that light bulb, on the inside of us, metaphorically, of course, is a cave. And when that light bulb opens up, it lights up and shines this cave on the inside of our brain space. And on the inside of this cave, with all these hieroglyphics, they're basically our instruction manual to navigate our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our perception of life and this human experience. So when we're triggered and that light bulb turns on, shines this light in the cave, shines up, lights up the hieroglyphics. But the problem is that there's rocks in the way. They're casting shadows onto the hieroglyphics, casting shadows all over. So the message on the walls is not clear. Every time we feel triggered and the light bulb goes off, it is our responsibility to go inside of ourselves and explore our cave, moving rocks out of the way to show the rest of the message of the hieroglyphics on the wall. And eventually, when we go inside of ourselves enough, all of those rocks that are casting shadows on the inside of our metaphorical cave will be gone. So when we feel triggered, the light bulb turns on and the whole cave will be illuminated. So when we feel triggers, those triggers that we experience through life will never go away. So if you've ever been told this in the past by a therapist or another coach or anything like that, I don't agree. And this is why I don't agree. We will always remember, when I get made fun of, if somebody makes a comment on my weight or something like that, I will always remember that trigger of feeling like I was the fat kid in school. Always. What's different is my relationship with the trigger, because I've gone inside of myself more than enough times to explore that trigger. I see all the writings on the wall. So the light bulb turns on. I feel that trigger. Oh, hey, that doesn't feel good. But I no longer feel the need to react. I can then respond to it because all of the writings on the wall are there. So with this analogy in mind, what triggers do you have that you could use as an intention? If you were to decide to use microdosing, you can use whatever triggers or whatever parts of your ego that you want to explore as your intention with microdosing. So a little bit of food for thought. If you have any specific questions, okay, any specific questions at all, you can either DM me here or send me an email, coach@thewolverinelifestyle.com. Okay. After I am finished, okay, it's still in the works, but I promise you, once it's finished, if you want my ebook on microdosing, it's free, by the way, let me know as well, and I will put you on the wait list for it being complete. I'm aiming at it being complete within the next couple weeks. As long as everything keeps moving forward at the pace it's going, it'll be in the next couple weeks, and as well as a support community for people who want to experience microdosing or make friends with other people who are experiencing microdosing, because I understand that there's still a huge stigma around all of this stuff. But I would really like to kind of like work towards like removing that stupid like stigma, okay? Because the stigma isn't necessary to be there anymore. It really isn't. All of the fear mongering around it really does not need to be there anymore. So I'm creating a community. If you're interested in that too, also send me an email over or a direct message on this as well. So on that note, I bid adieu. Please like, share, and subscribe. Your support is always appreciated. Plus, that's the only way that this message gets out there, guys. Right? So take care, and I am looking forward to seeing you on the inside and following along on my microdosing journey as well. Take care, guys.